Good evening. Welcome to yet another session of extramural lectures. The truest expression of people is in its dance and in its music. Bodies never lie. These are the words of Agnes de Millis, a world-renowned dancer. Today, we are privileged to have Padma Bhushan Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam as our speaker for the extramural lecture on Performing Arts for National Unity. Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam is a multifaceted talent. Apart from being an acclaimed Bharatanatyam dancer, she is a research scholar, choreographer, singer, music composer, teacher, author, and Indologist. She has a bachelor's degree in music, a master's degree in Ethno Musicology, and her Ph.D. Thesis is on Karanas in Indian dance and sculpture. Her several awards include Padmashri, Padma Bhushan, and the Akademi Ratna from the President of India, the Sangeet Natak Akademi Award, Kalidas Samman from the Govt. Of Madhya Pradesh, and Kalaimamani and State Artiste Awards from the Govt. Of Tamil Nadu. She is the only classical dancer in the world to receive the prestigious Fukuoka Asian Cultural Prize from Japan for her contribution to development and harmony in Asia. She was also conferred the prestigious honorary fellowship by the Asiatic Society of Mumbai. Dr. Padma is the president of Nrityodaya, the dance school founded by her father in 1942 in Chennai. This year happens to be the 72nd year of Nrityodaya, which coincides with the 62nd year of her continuous presence on stage in her journey of dance. May I now invite Dean, Professor, to welcome the speaker with a fruit basket.
My name is Shivkumar.
Sorry, I'm tensed. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We are also pleased to have with us today renowned Bharatanatyam exponent, Ms. Priyadarshini Govind, Director of Kalakshetra Foundation, and Mr. Vineet Radhakrishnan, acclaimed classical dancer and film actor. Welcome. Now, I request everyone to silence their phones for the lecture. Now, I invite Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam to deliver the lecture.
Sadgurubhyo Namaha. You can see me now, you can hear me now. Respected Professor Dean, Dr. Shiva Subramaniam, Shri Shiva, your Secretary Aditya, Sudarshan, the other two bright boys, I don't see them. There they are. It's such an honor and pleasure to be in your midst this evening. I thank IIT for having invited me to share some time, share some thoughts with the brightest youngsters of our country. IIT and the students are mutually lucky. I'm not new to IIT campus. You will be surprised to know that I have been coming here not as a student, but as an artist right from the day IIT was established. I knew your first director, Dr. Sengupta, and that time it happened to be Rabindranath Tagore's centenary year, and Mrs. Sengupta helped us in understanding Tagore's dance drama Shyama. I acted as Shyama, and she helped us in translating this. And no less a person than the very well-known film music director Salil Chowdhury was with us to understand the Ravindra Sangeet. I'm starting with that because right from those days I've been visiting IIT. Maybe I've seen 3-4 generations of students. You know something, I have sung more in your campus than danced. my passion has been to collect songs in as many languages as possible. During my student days, I think I collected and I sang in about 15 languages, Indian languages, and at least half a dozen foreign languages. So I used to come and entertain the students here with my music. Sometimes danced also. And a few times given lectures. I understand from what I spoke to your dean and Sri Shiva that many of you are interested in arts, particularly music and dance. And I told him, you shouldn't have just asked me to come and speak. Maybe I should do a workshop, make you dance, make you sing. And I'm so happy, as we were talking, Srimati Priyadarshini Govind, Director of Kalakshetra, joined us. And she has invited students from here to Kalakshetra tomorrow to watch the interactive session that they are going to have with extraordinary craftsmen from different parts of India. Well, the subject that has been given to me is performing arts for national unity. Very often you would have heard people using a phrase, creating national integration. And then also another phrase, unity in diversity. I beg to slightly differ from the way in which this is being projected. We don't have to newly create something. The integration is imminent for thousands of years. What we need to do is create an awareness about integration which has been there throughout the length and breadth of our Indian subcontinent. This is one thing. And the second thing is, when you say unity in diversity, again you feel as though too many things are diverse from each other. I would rather use a phrase, unity in variety. There is enough variety in our subcontinent. In fact, thanks to my research on Natya Shastra, which is the oldest extant literature on dramaturgy, art of poetics, dance, music, architecture of theatre, crafts, almost everything that is basically needed to call, within quotation, culture. The foundation of culture is seen in this work which runs to 36 chapters in Sanskrit. And this work reveals how much of variety in unity had been there in this part of the earth for a few thousands of years. I say a few thousands of years because the Western scholars have tried to understand the date, the chronology of Natya Shastra, and it varies from 500 BC to 500 AD, 1,000 years of difference each scholar has been giving. In my humble study, I have written in a book called Natya Shastra and National Unity, I worked out the chronology, the date of this work, and I'm convinced, and I think I've convinced the readers of my book, that this great encyclopedic work belongs to the period of Ramayana. I don't want to go into the details, but it is suffice if I say that Valmiki is one of the names written by Bharata Muni. He gives a list of names of rishis who are sitting and listening to Bharata Muni talking about aesthetics, talking about performing arts, talking about poetics, and Valmiki's name is also there in the list. We have to look at Indian history as Indians and not look at it with the colored glass that have been given to us by the Westerners. This is one basic thing that has to be understood. The divide and rule policy, which was really an intellectual conspiracy of the Westerners, has created the Aryan Dravidian race theory, divided us. There has been a divide between Tamil and Sanskrit, between the Hindus and Muslims, everywhere, wherever it is possible. The divide has been created, and for the past 150 years or so, we are still thinking that there was an Aryan invasion, and the Dravidians with flat nose and short figures were pushed down to south. All this, my dear youngsters, take it as cock and bull story with no base in our own Shastras. If you read our history from our own point of view, we will understand how much of misinterpretation has gone into the whole cultural history of our country. Unless you understand this basically, we are not going to understand that it is possible to have integration, possible to have any understanding between the peoples of India through performing arts. We have had a common base, a common grammar for performing arts, and this has not been projected in the pre-independence India, and I am sorry to say in the post-independence India as well. So when I first discovered this extraordinary fact some 35, 40 years ago, I was still young and many eyebrows were raised. They didn't want to take me seriously. One big problem in our country is we are not allowed to ask questions. Youngsters have 100 things in their mind. You must be allowed to ask questions. If questions are not raised, there will not be a sharpening of our intellect, even as teachers. And why? If Arjuna did not ask questions, we would not have had a Bhagavad Gita. So questions are very essential. The basic grammar for performing arts is same. Technically, all the performing arts have a common grammar all over India. Only the costumes are different. And when I say performing arts, it includes drama, dance, music, and you can extend it to both classical and folk level. When I say folk, it is the village folk. You have the tribal folk as well. Almost any movement, any physical movement can be analyzed and named based on the grammar that is available in the Natya Shastra. This is the greatness of the work. And the performing arts have actually been responsible for keeping the entire Indian subcontinent together. I would even say the performing arts have been responsible for keeping the culture of the entire Asian continent together. Because along with Ramayana and Mahabharata, the Natya Shastra has also crossed the ocean. And you see an extraordinary link through the performing arts in all these Southeast Asian countries. Do you know that the Ramayana is being danced every night in Indonesia? We don't do it here. Every night. When I met your Sudarshan, I was remembering Professor Sudarshan of Central Java, who took us around when I went for a seminar, Ramayana seminar, and danced there. This Professor Sudarshan has been acting as Rama for 25 years. As I was taking leave of him, I was wondering if he also has, that punal, that thread that Brahmins wear. So we asked him, do you have that also, Professor? Professor Sudarshan replied, no, madam, I am a Muslim. He has been dancing Ramayana for so long. And when the first president, Ayub Khan, president of Pakistan, visited Indonesia, he was given a grand welcome, and it was even today their custom to welcome important guests with a performance of Ramayana. And President Sukarno of Indonesia was sitting along with President Ayub Khan. Mr. Ayub Khan was a little put out seeing Ramayana being enacted. He asked a cryptic question to President Sukarno. He said, sir, am I in India or Indonesia? Because Indonesia is mostly Islamic state. And for this, President Sukarno replied, sir, you are in Indonesia. We follow Islam for philosophy and Hinduism for culture. How I wish we can have something like that here. We won't have any fight. So what brought this unity? You tell me. What brought this unity? It was performing arts. And if that can be between Hindu and Muslim groups, is it very difficult to have any understanding between the Bengalis and the Telangana group? Even Telangana and Andhra, which is very difficult, these days. So it is, Kuchipudi is their property. That's what they should think. They should not fight. The Andhras can't say it is ours. And the Telangana people cannot say, no, Kuchipudi is only our performing art. It is common to both. I would say Kuchipudi is common to us in Tamil Nadu or to Kerala. Every type of performing art has to be owned by every Indian, because it is something which unifies, makes us understand each other. And what is the basis for the performing art? See, culture of any country has to be understood as having a base in the literature of the country. Without literature, there cannot be any cultural elements. So the poets are responsible for our thoughts, and our thoughts being percolated by the performing artists make the sum total of culture. Probably culture means the culmination of refinement. Culture is just not a set of books in the library or just some monuments which you sometimes go to see or just some drill that is being performed as dance on the stage, but it has a soul. Behind all these arts, there is just not the physical outline, but there is a, apart from the physical framework, there is a soul for all these arts. And that soul is our philosophy. Without philosophy, there is no culture. And sometimes the best of philosophic thought becomes the best of scientific thought. There is no difference between science and art, between art and philosophy at the highest level. All the fight is only when you are at the nursery stage. As kindergarten, we fight. As we grow, we have to evolve. We have to understand. Man has to become holistic. You need science, but you need art. That is why you have in the name Natya Shastra. Natya is the art of drama, and Shastra implies science. So it is a science of the art of drama. What beautiful combination. Where else, in which other part of the world can you find a synthesis of art and science and philosophy? And this synthesis is so much there in the sculptures, in the architecture. You go to temple architecture, you have certain shastras, they are called Agama Shastras. The Agama Shastras are relating to the design of the temple, the image making, as well as the third element is the way of worship. So the three are together, and an expert engineer is the expert architect and the expert sculptor and also the expert in knowing the way of worship. All rolled in one is called Sthapati, because he does the Sthapana. He is the one who installs. So it is a holistic way of looking at things. Today, we think of specialization. You go to the doctor. Ayurveda doctor will take into consideration your whole body, your whole being. But if you are having a sinus problem, you go to an ENT man. There will be perhaps a time when you have to go to one doctor for the right nostril and another doctor for the left nostril. And the doctor who deals with the right nostril may not know anything about the left nostril. This kind of a specialization without understanding the whole is not always very good. It's like in Tamil we have a funny story. 4 blind people went to see the elephant. Each one touched one part of the elephant. One fellow said the tail is the elephant. Another fellow said the tusk is the elephant. Another fellow said the trunk is the elephant. Another fellow said the danta is the elephant. Elephant is all that. So we have to look at life as a whole. So performing arts are a reflection of life. Performing arts mirrors life in the universe. It mirrors not only the human beings, it mirrors the devas, the gods, the bad fellows, the asuras. Not just the human beings, it mirrors animals, birds, chetana, achetana, objects which have life, objects which have no life is also enacted. So the universe, the whole universe is seen in the theatre. We say in Tamil, அண்டத்தில் உள்ளதுதான் பிண்டத்தில் இருக்கு. The macro and microcosm, the substance is same. So the theatre becomes a microcosmic space. This is how performing arts has been understood in India. That is why I said the basic philosophy is same, the basic grammar is same, the basic technique is same. The language may be different region to region. If one region concentrates on one aspect of performing arts, like say the thala, the rhythmic part, the facial expression as in Kathakali, or the graceful flowy movements of Manipuri, all these find a place in this one encyclopedic work called Natya Shastra. I said language also finds a place. Bharata is analyzing language as Ati Bhasha, that is the language of the gods, Arsha Bhasha, the language of the rishis who have done intellectual exercise in creating a language, that is Sanskrit. That is why it is called Samskrita. I am told it's the best suited for your computer, because it has been evolved through the intellectual exercise of the rishis. Refined language. Samskriti means refinement. That which has been refined and perfected as a verbal expression is Samskrita. So there is no point in hating this language. When central government wanted to have a week-long Samskrita in the, I think, school level, there was a lot of, opposition to it. Why? Thanks to Aryan Dravidian race theory that was created. So, this is Ati Bhasha, Arsha Bhasha, then you have the commoner's language, that is called Jati Bhasha. Then Bharata speaks of subhuman language, Yonyantara Bhasha, the language of the animals and birds. Is there anyone in IIT who wants to do research on this Yonyantara Bhasha? How did they train the elephants? How did they train the horses? There are manuscripts in Saraswati Mahal Library. Go if you want to do research. So, I don't want to take much of your time. I would give you in a minute or two the basic concept of rasa. It's a very, very big topic, but I'll make it as simple as possible. You would have heard this term or not, rasa? Please put up your hand if you have not heard this term. Wonderful. My work is very simple. You are all rasikas. That is why you have heard this name rasa. Rasika is one who enjoys. The man who enjoys is the rasika. What does he enjoy? It is that rasa. What is enjoyed is rasa, and who is enjoying is the rasika. Well, you see a film, and my disciple Vineet is here, so I am very inspired to talk about films. It is an extension of performing arts. You know something? Just after the problems in Afghanistan, one of our ministers visited Afghanistan, and do you know what he took with him? A bundle of DVDs of Hindi films, which was most welcome for the Afghans. Is it not one more reason to say that it is an integrating factor? Why, even in Pakistan, Indian television is loved by the Pakistanis. So it's arts which can win hearts. Science will win your brain, but hearts can be won through the arts only. But you need brain and also heart. I was very happy to learn from Shri Shiva that you've started a new department where some holistic lectures are given, and your profession will be embellished with your passion for other arts, and I've also offered to give you a workshop in dance if you like. You want to join? So this rasa is the enjoyment, but it's not easy. How do I make you enjoy? I must have some feeling in me. Understand, feeling is bhava. So in a film, you see the hero or the heroine crying. Our films have even the hero crying. Very often they also cry. No, Vineet, am I not wrong? I hope I'm not wrong. And there is a tragedy. You look at that hero or heroine crying, and you're also happy to cry with him. When you come out, you squeeze your kerchief, you've cried so much, but then you tell your friend, what a film, what a film. What wonderful tragedy. I cried and cried. I enjoyed crying. Can you enjoy crying if it is reality? So this enactment was seemingly real. It was not real. Performing arts make you laugh, make you cry, make you wonder, and these are all feelings that is being transported from the actor. These ideas are transported to your intellect. As spectator, you receive, you are the receiver. Transmission take place and you have to tune. Of course, it's radio which needs to be tuned. If you have no sense at all for art, then nothing can work. You must have that sensitivity. You have to have a feel for the art. So once you understand this, when this communication takes place, you enjoy. But what you need a basic emotion. You need that to be communicated. The art of communication is called abhinaya. So once it is communicated, Abhinaya is nothing. Ni means to draw. You get the root ni, to draw. What? To draw the concept or feeling from the actor towards the spectator in front of the actor is Abhinaya. Once this is done, then it works in the mind of the spectator, and the spectator enjoys, whether it is horror or tragedy or comedy, whatever it is, there is enjoyment. That aesthetic enjoyment is called rasa. And it is for that aesthetic enjoyment all of us congregate, all over the world. And how can this be different? Man loves rasa. Whether you're a Kashmirian or a Bengali or a Tamilian or a Keralite, you enjoy. It is for this enjoyment. And momentarily, at least momentarily, you forget that real, your I, this capital I. There is something that makes you a little possible to have a transcendental experience. So rasa becomes a spiritual experience. That is why our analysis, Indian analysis of exposure to beauty, ends up in understanding this experience as a spiritual experience. It has nothing to do with your body. It is something more than that. It is not even your intellect. It is more than that. So this is the level of performing arts. This is what is possible through performing arts. And naturally, this is the reason for whole of Indian subcontinent coming under the sway of performing arts. So integration is imminent. In order to make people understand each other, region from region to region, Government of India introduced railway concession for artists. I am very happy to say it was my father's brainchild. When Pandit Nehru was Prime Minister, it was he who suggested that railway concession must be given to performing artists so that the Bengalis can come to Kerala, the Keralites can go to Madhya Pradesh, they perform, and there is a direct contact between the performers on the stage and the audience, which even in films you don't get. You are only seeing the screen. And this integration is more easily achieved through performing arts. And thanks to television these days, you have YouTube, you have the Google, technology is helping to propagate this idea of performing arts being an integrating factor. Before I conclude, I would like to have some interaction with you people. Want to ask questions? You want any comment? Please feel free. Generally what happens is, after I finish and when I go to the car, people will come to me and start asking questions. Feel free. What I gave is not a lecture. Treat me as another sister of yours. Ask anything that you want. Yeah.
Good evening, madam.
I'll be very happy to know your name.
Shaktivel. Shaktivel.
Shaktivel, Tamil.
Yes. You talked about this, the relation between the arts and meditation, I mean their spiritual experiences. So in the current scenario, people are, mostly trying to dissociate this spiritual part and art, especially in Indian arts. So can you talk about? And one more question, can you talk about some dance and the spontaneity?
Dance and spontaneity.
Yes.
Okay. I'll answer the second question first. Any art is of two kinds, whether it is music or dance, or even drawing, painting, anything. One is kalpita, that which is taught, and you repeat. That is one level. Next level is kalpana, creativity. Both are possible in all these arts. We all do kalpana, but you can't straight away say, I'll do kalpana. Then that can be quite chaotic. So you need, even to speak, you need some grammar, right? You can't mix up tense, you can't mix up genders. You need some grammar for any language to speak. Performing arts are all like languages. You have to have the basic foundation, and once you master the foundation, then you can have kalpana, the creativity. This is one thing. The other one is, you were very skeptical about the connection between arts and spirituality. Am I right? Is the confusion in your mind, or are you talking about what you see around? What you are seeing around? Nothing can be done. They will say it is human rights. You can't compel somebody to think the way you think. If they are fortunate, they will reach the next level. As I said, it's question of getting evolved. Somebody cannot evolve in one day or 1 year. So you have, like how you have from nursery school, then you go to college, you do further studies, research and all that. There is a hierarchy. You learn in the beginning, and then there is, from the physical point of view, you learn the physical movements. Then comes an intellectual understanding of what movement for which bhava. And then you have the emotional level of understanding, where you analyze from a psychological point of view. Above the three is the spiritual level. That cannot be taught. It has to be felt. To have that feeling, one has to be fortunate. Punyam pananam. Anything else? Mike vela panla.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I am Naveen. I have a couple of questions. So this is related to the sensitivity of the person, because you told that any art, to enjoy that rasa, the person has to be sensitive. So my first question is it a natural thing or can it be developed? Second question is, you've seen a broad spectrum of people from wide age groups for a large period. So what do you comment on the sensitivity of the people from maybe 50 years ago to the people now? Are they receptive to that age? Because in all the things you have told, it has content, but for the integration to happen, people must be happy to receive that. These are my two questions. Because I see some of my friends like to, they get more involved in arts. But some of them I don't get involved. So what is that?
Well, sensitivity has, you have to be born with sensitivity. Let's face facts. It has to be an inborn quality, number one. And that inborn quality has to be cultivated, otherwise it dies. For that, you need the right environment, the right friendship, the right sangam, as we call. So it depends on exposure, how much you are exposed to the arts. And you need the opportunity to be exposed. So you develop those qualities which need appreciation. This is one thing. As far as the other question is, you wanted to know if I have found any difference in the generations in appreciation. I will say no. There have been great Rasikas, there are still great Rasikas, and there will be great Rasikas. It's only a question of how much, as I said, they are exposed. That is why it is very essential that your roots are not lost. You must be in touch with arts which belong to your own country. This is very important. Because these days, in the name of globalization, culture is being globalized, which is not a very happy thing. You can validate cultures, but you can't lose your own culture. You need not speak low of another culture, but you can't lose your own roots. Like how Gandhiji said, let the wind flow through my room. I'll keep all my windows and doors open, but I won't allow any of these winds to blow me off. So you have to be rooted in our culture. So just pub culture of the West will not bring you this sensitivity. That is excitement. What you have in the pub is the excitement. But what I'm talking to you is from the Indian philosophic point of view, it calms you down. What we need in the world today is humanity needs to calm down. Whether it is science or art, it should help the human to evolve further and become divine. For that you need Shanti.
But in many of our cases, this route to...
Who's asking? Sorry.
In many of our cases, maybe from our childhood bringing up or anything, this route to this exposure to arts is cut down.
Is condemned?
Cut down.
Cut down. Oh.
Yeah, due to many reasons, whatever may be the reasons. So then the crux of your lecture was the national integration through arts. Then when not having this sensitivity and once it is cut down, what should be done?
I don't know whom you blame for cutting down the sensitivity. The sensitivity cannot be cut. If it is inborn, it will still remain there forever and ever. Maybe your parents didn't allow you to pursue some art for a few years, but like the phonings, it will come back. When it comes back, when you get an opportunity, grab it. In fact, that will help you to learn your other subjects better. Yeah.
I'm Sri Sudha. Is there any age limit beyond which one cannot learn a performing art? As in, what is an ideal age when one should start learning the performing?
There's no age limit. You know something, the founder of Kalakshetra, Srimati Rukmini Devi, was 32 before she could move her hands. She never learned dance before that. And she created such a big institution. She herself was a dancer. Better late than never, you can start.
Okay. Another small request in your hall. Could you sing a song for us before you wind up this lecture?
You want me to sing a song, or would you like to see a little bit of my video?
Anything is fine.
Small bit of video you like to see?
It would be nice if you sing both. Both would be good.
Okay, I'll sing one folk song. You promise me all of you will repeat.
Okay.
All of you will join me. I'll teach you a folk song. And you shouldn't be shy. I want your voices to be heard without microphone. Okay? But it's a Tamil song. Is it okay? How many people can... You all know. I'll try to avoid the words. We just had the Ganesh Chaturthi. So I'll sing one small little piece of song sung by the... there is a particular folk dance in Madurai district where they perform with colored handkerchiefs. And they start with the Ganesh Vandana. The words are like this: Mundi Mundi Vinayakare. Say, Mundi Mundi Vinayakare, Muppatti Mukkodi Devargale. You know, Muppatti Mukkodi Devar, you know what it is? 33 crores of Devas. By Devas we mean the forces of nature. 33 crores of forces of nature. Somebody has to do research on this. Even for one God particle it has taken so long and so much money. So 33 crores, how are you going to manage? By the way, I'm told they have a nice big Nataraja idol in the same place where God particle has been revealed. I'm sure most of you are aware of the connection between atomic physics and Shiva Tandava. I'm sure all of you know. Please put up your hands if you don't know. So many people didn't know. Have you not read Fritz Capra's book, Tao of Physics? If you have seen the pages of this book, it connects atomic physics with Nataraja Tattva. What is dance of Shiva? It is, we already knew, I don't know, the scientists all over the world have spent so many crores for finding the God particle, whereas the Upanishads have talked about this long ago. In fact, you know, when the Western world was saying that atom can be split, Upanishads already thousands of years ago spoke about Anu, which is atom, and Paramanu, the subatom. So Indian scientists knew about it. Indian scientist was a philosopher also. He was the rishi who could see beyond the eyes, who could hear beyond the ears. So Nataraja Tattva is nothing but it's a dance of the subatomic world. It is Shiva who is galvanizing the whole cosmos into activity. There is some kind of an orderliness in the sky What a wonderful group dance is going on in the sky, and no accidents, no traffic police there. That is why probably no accidents. So the Paramanu is nothing but that Shiva. So the subatomic world is the crux of dance of Shiva. And the whole iconography that you see, the idol that you see, is based on symbolism. You are all sure, you remember the Nataraja figure. There is an arch round the Nataraja. That arch represents the whole universe, whole cosmos, whole creation. That is his space. He needs a theatre to dance. So that is his symbol. The symbolic theatre is the arch. He has 4 hands. The upper right hand has a drum. And that drum symbolizes creation, because the drum causes vibration. Whether it is particle theory or whatever it is, it causes vibration, the sound is there, and that sound symbolizes creation. Whatever is created is protected by the lower right hand. It's called Abhaya Hasta, hand of protection. He says Abhaya needs no fear, Abhaya Hasta. Then the upper left hand has fire. It symbolizes dissolution. It's not destruction. Hindus don't believe in destruction. It's only dissolution. It's only a change. We have the karma, law of karma and law of janma. So what is going on changing? The fire represents dissolution, and the lower left hand points to the left foot which is raised, and the left foot itself represents the ultimate home of all the tired souls, the liberation, the mukti or the moksha. And the right leg crushes a demon, a dwarf figure, and that dwarf figure symbolizes ignorance. So it is because Shiva is dancing in Chitakasha. Akasha is space. He is dancing in a space which is the space of wisdom. Chit means wisdom. So it is that consciousness. He is that ultimate consciousness. So he is dancing in that space of ultimate consciousness. That space is in you also. It is in me also. We have to realize that that space is within us. That Shiva is dancing within us. That is why you have the heartbeat. That is the rhythm of your life. It is that dance of Shiva which is taking place every time. This creation and dissolution is happening within every one of us. How many millions of cells are dying in every part of our body? Every second. And how many new cells are born? What is born is gone, what is gone is born. This rotation is going on, happening. That is why the world is called in Sanskrit Jagat. Ja has the root in the root meaning of Ja is that which is born. Ga means that is gone. So what is gone is born, what is born is gone. You see the rotation, which is happening in all of us every second. So it is something which is macrocosm. It's a macrocosmic happening which is happening in the microcosm as well. This is the Tattva, Shiva Tandava Tattva. So, 33 கோடி தேவர்கள், 33 crores of energies, different kinds of natural forces which are making this world sustainable. We have no right to destroy any of them. If we have to live harmoniously, if humanity has to continue to live, we need to understand this extraordinary group choreography, this group dance which is taking place. So, 33 கோடி தேவர்களே, தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னானி தன்னே காயத்ரி வா. தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னே நனநானானி தன்னானி. Loudly. முந்தி முந்தி விநாயகரே சுருளி 33 கோடி தேவர்களே. முந்தி முந்தி விநாயகரே சுருளி 33 கோடி தேவர்களே. முந்தி முந்தி விநாயகரே சுருளி 33 கோடி தேவர்களே. கந்தன் குழந்தைக்கு முன் பிறந்த மகா கட்சி கணபதி முன்னடவாய். கந்தன் குழந்தைக்கு முன் பிறந்த that God who was born before Skanda, that child Skanda is a second. Kandan Kulandekku mun piranda, someone who was born before Skanda, Murugan. Maha Kachi Ganapati, Kachi is Kanchivaram, Kachi Ganapati Munnada. Walk before us, walk in front of us so that you are dancing with us. You understand? They are calling Ganapati to dance with them. கந்தன் குழந்தைக்கு முன் பிறந்த மகா கட்சி கணபதி முன்னடவாய். கந்தன் குழந்தைக்கு முன் பிறந்த மகா கட்சி கணபதி முன்னடவாய். தனனம் தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னானே தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னே நனநானானே தன்னானே. More when we meet for a workshop, okay? I think it's time, 7:30, we won't have the video. Not feeling hungry? Don't want to go and eat? Okay, I have a choice for you. I'll show you something of what I performed for Western Symphony. Want that? Russian Symphony. I have done Jatayu Mokshan. How many of you don't know Ramayana? Put up your hands. Wonderful, wonderful. You all know Ramayana. Very good. You know Jatayu? You remember the bird? How Rama was close to the bird? And how Rama did even the last rites for bird. What more do you want for environment, for understanding, for love of man to the subhuman world, living and let others live also. So here is the story of Jatayu Moksha. I don't know how long can you spare. 10 minutes is okay? 10 minutes is okay? I won't tell you the story. I think you will understand. There is Abhinaya. The ideas are definitely understandable, I think. If you didn't understand something, then you ask me.
Intoxicated that their legs get intertwined unintentionally in their crooked gait. She's Shakuntala's
This is
celestial
part of
mother.
a 13-episode telefilm serial that we did for Doordarshan.
From what you Krishna beckoning him to come. Another possible interpretation
Gayatri,
can
straight go to
art is
Tchaikovsky.
Kalpita. With Rama cremating
Sure, poets.
with full use of the body, of course, along with sattva.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Dr. Padma, for that wonderful and enlightening talk. Now I request Professor Shivakumar to felicitate the speaker with a memento. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.